Cam, we have, I want to say like an exciting all-star break coming up in the NBA. It's not going to be all that exciting. I really don't think it is. Of course, the NBA had to do something to try and fix the lack of excitement in the previous all-star games because players just decide that they're not going to try hard and it's just a joke of a game. I'm not sure the new format and everything is necessarily going to be fixing it all. And I will not be like totally fixated on my TV come this weekend. All-star game this weekend, yeah.
I just like the MVP market. And it's funny, these markets are just growing and growing and growing year by year. If you go to MGM, title sponsor of the network, you can see not only can you bet the three-point contest, dunk contest, and skills challenge, but they are getting so creative now. They have a number on Jalen Brunson's round one score in the three-point contest, 22.5. I have no idea, but I have a feeling that somebody's going to bet that. Or bet on Damian Lillard's first round score. Or you can bet on who's going to meet in the finals of the dunk contest. I know you like Buzelis for the Bulls. There's so many more ways to bet the game and bet on the weekend. That's what makes it fun. And I think my favorite market, I've done this over the years in the All-Star game. Let me start by saying I have no idea who's winning All-Star MVP. Do not know. Don't really care for that matter. But you get some really good players that can just go off and get buckets. One year, I bet Russell Westbrook at 30-1, and he won the MVP. He went bananas in the game. It's one sample size. That's it. And in that market, not to hijack this and go there, but Steph Curry, for example, to win the All-Star Game MVP is 5-1. I get it, but nah. SGA is 750. Wembanyama 9-1. The one that leaps off to me is LeBron at 11-1 because we're going to hear nonstop about his age and his talent, and nobody's ever done this before, and people love LeBron. The league goes out of its way to pedestal LeBron. So he's 11-1. Damian Lillard is 11-1. And another guy that's very interesting because of how much he can score and flash, Anthony Edwards is 11-1. My advice in that market would be simple. Just take a very good player at a very good price. Jason Tatum, 18-1. You would be surprised if Jason Tatum scored 50 in the All-Star game, would you? Just put a bet on a player down the board that could have a big game. And that would be my advice for All-Star MVP.
Yeah, there's no science behind it. Like, you don't know who's going to catch fire like Steph did with the threes a couple years ago when he won it. So my eyes were drawn to Wemby and Anthony Edwards, partially because I am from Minnesota, watch a lot of Timberwolves games. So Anthony Edwards, I have a little bit of a recency bias for. Victor Wembanyama, he's just been great this year, right? And after the Olympics last year, how good he was in that, I feel like he is going to be, especially being a young player, this being his first All-Star game, someone who's going to take the game a little bit more serious than maybe some others. LeBron, to your point, not a bad look. This could potentially be his last All-Star game. And LeBron, we know, as much as he doesn't want the farewell tour, all of that, yes, he does. And he would love to go out with an MVP All-Star, his second of his career. So, yeah, I agree with you on some of those names, but it does feel a little bit like throwing darts versus like any strong handicap you can have on the market, right?
I love darts, though. I absolutely love them. Not only betting darts, but darts, real darts, cricket, not 501, cricket. I think we should bet Edwards. I like it. You like it. I actually also just watched the movie Hustle with Adam Sandler. Have you seen it? When Edwards is Kermit Wilkes or Kermit whatever, and then he goes off in that first matchup in the movie Hustle. So not that matters at all with the handicap, but I think you're right, though. I think in terms of guys to take that next step and join the covenant of very, very perennial all-star players, he's that guy. And, this is a first overall pick a few years back. He can score from anywhere on the floor. All right, you know what? I'm just going to bet this right now. Why am I selling it? I don't need to sell myself or you. I'm betting Edwards at 11-1. I'm doing it.
11-1. There you go.
Yep.
Love it. I also, the dunk contest, Matt McClung has won the last 2 seasons. He's minus 210 to win it again. We
Nah.
just watched the Chiefs try and three-peat. Didn't happen. I don't think McClung's three-peat. I think it's going to take like and something insane for McClung to do to win this, because this standard is going to be set a little higher, the bar. What is there left to do in the dunk contest? Really, I feel like everything has been done, which is part of the reason you don't get those big superstar names is they don't want to go out and show something that one has already been done and potentially two fail at one that already has been done, or just lose to a younger, less talented player and be embarrassed in that sense. I'm looking at Matas Buzelis again. A little recency bias for me. Live here in Chicago, watch a lot of Bulls, and he's been, with how terrible the Bulls have been lately, like he's been one of the bright spots, one of the fun points on the Bulls. He has had some phenomenal dunks this season. And Sam, he played in the McDonald's All-American game 2 years ago, and in their dunk contest, finished second, so finished runner up. But one of his dunks, his very first one, it got a perfect 10 on it. He bounces it through the legs, up behind the back, over. Like, it was a very athletic dunk. And this kid, a huge athlete, can get up there. And then 7-1. I mean, it's just, I like the odds versus a minus 210 on Matt McClung.
Okay, I can be talked into Buzelis. As for the skills challenge, no idea. Team Cavs are
Yep.
favored at 2-1. 3-point contest is always interesting. This is a market that I've always compared to the home run derby, where you can find a really good option down the board. Like, I'm not going to bet Kate. I'm not going to take Dame. I love Dame.
No.
I'm not betting Dame at 375 to win the 3-point contest. So Garland is 5-1. Hero is 5. A guy like Buddy Hield at 5.25, not bad. Brunson 750. Cam Johnson 850, and then Cade Cunningham 12-1. Karl Anthony Towns won this one year. He was 15-1. It just takes a little bit of hotness at the right time, and anybody could win this thing. But my advice for 3-point contest, for dunk contest, Kate likes Buzelis down the board. We talked about people down the board for MVP. Just take a shot at a good price, and you will be rewarded if these guys come through. If not, you lose 1 unit or a half unit or whatever. I would not go crazy in these markets. I also wouldn't be betting a lot of the favorites.
Yeah, I like Cam Johnson in the 3-point contest. And again, I'm just picking someone down the board. He can get hot, great catching or off the bounce shooter. And I could see him pouring in a couple and being a name that not too many people are keying in on and wanted to prove something. So Damian Lillard, like, for the price that he's at, that's just not fun to bet, because don't you want some excitement? And sure, if he wins he three-peats the 3-point contest, that would be kind of interesting, but not at that price. So yeah, I'd look at someone down the board. I kind of like Cam Johnson for that one. Anything else in the All-Star game, like format wise? You think this is going to be any more interesting? It's tournament style, 4 teams. They each play a game. Winners meet in the finals. First team to 40. I feel like we're still going to get the same players, just kind of play lackadaisical until they hit the 30-point mark. And then all of a sudden it's time to lock in and you play best of 10, basically.
I'm so confused on how it plays out. Like, I've read the rules, and then, when you read something and you go, what did I just read?
What?
That's sort of where I'm at with the rules. So I don't know that there's a strategy yet. I'd like to maybe do a little bit more diligence on it overnight and see what happens tomorrow and into Friday. But I will bet MVP. I will probably tail on Edwards and Buzelis, and I'll have somebody for the 3-point contest. I don't know who it is yet. I'm sort of attracted to the price on Hield, and I love Jalen Brunson, Chicago kid, smooth, silky lefty. But as you said off the top, we're throwing darts. And if you're throwing darts in these events, you want to get good prices. That is the name of the game.
Yes. In terms of betting the All-Star game, whatever. And I have to look into how this all works too, because there's 3 teams of like the superstars, the TNT analyst guys. And then Candace Parker has a team of the rising stars, the young, like, rookies, sophomores. I feel like those players are going to actually try really hard. So that could be an angle to look at. They're going to want to take it to the Anthony Edwards, Kevin Durant, all those big names. So maybe you'll probably get a better price on them too than some of the TNT, the Chuck, the Kenny, the Shaq teams. So just another angle to consider. Sam, in terms of futures market in the championship, the finals, everything, it's kind of Celtics, Thunder, Cavs a little bit. They're 8-1, and then everyone else. In your opinion, right now, is there anyone down the board that could rival the Celtics, the Thunder, and potentially the Cavs in the postseason?
I don't think so. We talk about a lot of long shots on this show. This is a league though where I run far away because at the end of the day, the cream tends to rise in the NBA. Now you get your occasional teams like the Miami Heat that kind of sneak into a finals here and there, but this is not going to be a hot take. I'm not going against the Celtics. That team, when healthy, is just so good and so much better than everybody else. And look, you're going to see a lot of people that take shots on Cleveland and the Knicks and maybe the Bucks. I don't know. I mean, you look at the price at MGM, Celtics to win the East are minus 105. So, I mean, the math tells you a lot just by putting that number next to them, putting that minus sign. They know what's up. They know the Celtics are legit. And, over in the West, Joe and I have bets on some teams down the board. I've got the Grizzlies. I think he jumped in on the Clippers. People are talking about the Rockets as an upstart team, but the books are telling us it's going to be Boston and Oklahoma City. And, not to sit here and bang the drum on the two favorites making the finals, but I don't really like any long shots. I do have the Grizzlies. If they want to make a run of the West final, that'd be great. But I am not diving deep in this market, at least not for West or East. How about you?
Well, I just watched a couple Thunder games. They are so good. That team is phenomenal. Both sides of the ball. They finally fixed their rebounding issues from last season. That was one of the downfalls of that roster last year. They bring in Hartenstein, and they're actually getting healthier right now, which makes it even scarier. Chet Holmgren is coming back. So, yeah, Thunder, if anyone in the West, like, I just don't think you're getting past the Thunder, especially a team that had some postseason experience last year for a young squad. The Lakers at 7-1, that shocks me. I know the books kind of have to put it there after the whole Luka trade, everything, and it's enticing, and people are probably still betting it. But the Mark Mitchell trade that just fell through, like, that's massive because they don't have a center. Alex Len, they just signed. He's not getting the job done. Like, I don't even know if Alex Len, what team he was on prior to this trade. Like, that's how irrelevant he's kind of been in the league. In the East, Celtics, it feels like they're just kind of cruising along and, not quite too worried about the postseason yet. They'll take it more seriously when it comes. The Knicks at 5-1. You look at who the Knicks have beat and then who the Knicks have lost to. They've gotten beat by the Celtics by a combined 50 some points. They've lost twice to the Cavs. They've lost twice to the Thunder. You think the Knicks are going into the postseason and all of a sudden turning it on and beating these top teams? They can't even beat them in the regular season. So that is not a team that I will be betting on. The Cavs, the DeAndre Hunter move, bringing him in. It'll be interesting kind of to watch and see how that evolves over the next couple of weeks. But yeah, Celtics and Thunder, it feels like that's kind of the where this league is headed this year in terms of the finals. Sam,
And it's
any
okay. It's okay. I mean,
yeah,
like we don't want to sit here and tell people to take shots on the Pacers or the Magic or the Rockets or the T-Wolves. Like I would like to just keep my money, and not losing a bet to me is oftentimes more important than even making a bet. I'm not betting just to lose. So I think at the end of the day, in the title market, in the East West market, the cream's going to rise. No darts. All-Star weekend, though, dart, 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 over and over
darts.
again.
Yes, darts all over All-Star weekend. I'm not a big dart player though. Like, I suck at darts. Do you actually go out and play darts?
Oh yeah. Well, in Boston, nobody has darts here. In Chicago, there's a dartboard on every block. In Boston, no darts. So I'm a little rusty, but I could fling them a little bit. I've been told.
All right. Well, I'll have to see that sometime, Sam. Next time you're in Chicago, we'll go play some darts. Um, in terms of award winners this year, everything's kind of set. Defensive Player of the Year, Wembanyama's heavy favorite there. SGA, heavy favorite for MVP right now. Malik Beasley, Sixth Man of the Year. That's someone who has a little bit higher odds. I believe he's third on the board. Maybe you could take a look at that heading into the break. Just knowing that there is quite a bit of basketball left. But for the most part, kind of like the finals, it seems like things are fairly set in terms of where those awards are going to be headed.